The biblical view of the Torah. What did the biblical writers themselves think of the Torah? Moses himself understood that what he was receiving from the Lord was to be considered sacred. The ways of God were to be obeyed, and they should not be changed. He said in Deuteronomy, "Whatever I command you, you shall be careful to do. You shall not add to nor take away from it." In fact, Moses laid down the standard by which all future prophets would be judged. In order to be counted as a legitimate prophet of God, you could not lead people away from the commandments of God. It says in Deuteronomy 13, "If a prophet or a dreamer of dreams arises among you and gives you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder comes true concerning which he spoke to you, saying, 'Let us go after other gods whom you have not known, and let us serve them.'" It says, "You shall not listen to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams. For the Lord your God is testing you to find out if you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. You shall follow the Lord your God and fear him, and you shall keep his commandments. Listen to his voice, serve him, and cling to him." So it was the job of every legitimate prophet of God or leader of God's people to cause the people of Israel to follow the Lord by leading them back to the commandments of God found in the Torah. Indeed, this is what we find in the rest of the Bible, beginning with Moses' successor, Joshua. Joshua communicated the word of the Lord and said, "Only be strong and very courageous. Be careful to do all according to all of the Torah, that is the instruction, which Moses my servant commanded you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, so that you may have success wherever you go. This book of the Torah shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do according to all that is written in it. For then you shall make your way prosperous, and then you will have success." God had made a covenant with Israel that he would bless them if they kept his commandments. Therefore, it was the job of all of the prophets to call Israel to turn away from sin and instead follow God's commandments. Over and over again, the prophets pointed out Israel's failure to keep God's commandments. They continually had to call upon Israel to obey God. For example, Jeremiah said, "Why is the land ruined, laid waste like a desert, so that no one passes through?" The Lord said, "Because they have forsaken my Torah, my instruction, which I set before them, and they have not obeyed my voice, nor walked according to it." And Malachi said, "To remember the Torah, the instruction of Moses my servant, even the statutes and ordinances which I commanded him in Horeb for all Israel." All of the Hebrew scriptures calls upon God's people to obey his commandments. Indeed, the Psalms are filled with positive statements about God's Torah, his instruction. It says, "The Torah or instruction of the Lord is perfect and restoring the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The precepts of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes." To David, the Torah was a source of restoration, of wisdom, of righteousness, and of illumination. Furthermore, the writer of Ecclesiastes, after pondering the meaning of life, concluded saying this: "The conclusion when all has been heard is, fear God and keep his commandments, because this applies to every person." As Christians, we believe that the point of life is to be like Jesus. But this notion is just a different way of expressing what the writer of Ecclesiastes concluded. Jesus was perfect, and that was because he adhered to the Torah. Sadly, many today would seek to establish that Jesus was against the Torah. And even in his day, there were those who were apparently seeking to twist his words, and they were claiming that he was teaching against the Torah. To prove that these rumors were untrue and to demonstrate that he was not a false prophet, Jesus said, "Do not think that I came to abolish the Torah or the prophets. I did not come to abolish, but to fulfill." Now, these words of Jesus will be explored in greater depth in a later video, but his point was this: by following Jesus, the Torah will not be abolished, but rather fulfilled. And furthermore, by obeying the Torah, you will be great in the kingdom. As Jesus went on to say, "Whoever then annuls one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever keeps and teaches them, he shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven." The Apostle John reiterated this teaching by putting it this way: By this we know that we have come to know him, if we keep his commandments. The one who says, I have come to know him, and does not keep his commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him. So John here taught that our confession is nothing unless we live out God's ways. In God's eyes, it is not the thought that counts, it is the action that counts. And this is why Paul said, it is not the hearers of the Torah, that is God's instruction, who are just before God, but the doers of the Torah will be justified. Put simply, all of the important men and women of Scripture had a positive view of the Torah.